Welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today, let's talk about authority and insecurity. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. My name is Kale Houser. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wanted to talk a little bit about the relationship between authority and the influence of our own insecurities, especially if you are that leader, if you are that one with the authority. I have found, as a general rule, typically leaders that are very authoritative in nature, as in they need to be in charge, they need to be the ones that are giving the commands, they need to be the ones that are seen as at the top. They're very authoritative in nature. Usually they're kind of unbending. Those tend to be, as a rule of thumb, the most insecure. Right, this kind of makes sense. We've seen this, and you've probably been around enough to hear kind of these classic psychology. I don't even know what you would call it. I guess diagnoses, whatever the term is. You know what I mean? When you're diagnosed with these insecurities that come out, and we tend to overcompensate in other areas in order to compensate for those insecurities. And this is no different than anyone in any sort of leadership position, although the difference is they have that avenue and this unique ability and authority to overcompensate in their other areas of their life. So you may be insecure about, how you're viewed, right? So you're insecure that or constantly thinking people don't like you, or people are judging you or second guessing you all the time. So you overcompensate by never giving them that opportunity to second guess you, because you are the authority. They will do what you say when you say it right now, that whole 9 yards, and you tend to overcompensate versus allowing people to, come to your side, see your perspective, get buy-in to your vision and your mission as the leader of your company. And this is a very dangerous place to be. I had an instance where I was in command of a small unit during my military days. I believe, for the most part, we did a great job. Everyone knew their roles and responsibilities. I gave people the leeway to make their own decisions because they were all adults. They were all professionals in the military. They knew, what was required and expected of them. And that was my style of leadership. I never felt threatened by anybody. I never was going around like, oh, that other younger officer is just out to get my job, or, everyone's out just to get me, or they don't like me. Those types of things never crossed my mind because I'm not insecure in that manner. I certainly have my own other insecurities, but that wasn't one of them, which was fortunate for me because when you have those types of insecurities, they tend to come out in your leadership style. However, there was another officer that came in after me that went kind of the other full spectrum of heavy hand, authority, my way only. If you've got an opinion, I'll let you know what it is. That particular officer kind of went this other direction. And having known this officer for a little while, you could kind of see that they had this little bit of what I would consider an insecurity issue, that they were not sure of their roles, they were not sure of their ability, they were not sure of their standing, of their status, and the appropriateness and people's willingness to follow them of their own accord. That the merit of them being the leader was not enough to gain that followership and buy-in. And this really is no surprise because for all the quote unquote leadership training that the military does, and I can't really speak to other services outside of the Air Force, although I have encountered other officers in the other services, and my suspicion is it's very similar. Despite all this, leadership training, it's very shallow and it's very hollow in the sense that, yes, you read the books, yes, you write the papers, you do the theses. If you get along that far in the officer corps to where you're going to professional schools and things like that for your rank. However, in practice, it's all about command. And command is not about being a leader. Command is about being in charge. Command is about having the authority to not inspire, but to inflict your will on everyone else in order to get, ideally to get, the larger mission done, blah, 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 whatever your military mission is. And that's what the military sets its young officers up for, this level of thinking that it doesn't matter if the young airman, the young soldier, the young Navy seaman, corpsman, the young Marine, doesn't matter if they believe in it or not. It doesn't matter if they like you or not. They will do what you tell them because you're in charge, and it is their literally legal, financial, moral obligation to follow your orders to the letter, right? The oath of office and the oath of enlistment is, I will follow the orders of the officers put above me. And this whole concept of leadership kind of gets thrown to the wayside. It's a great term to say, like, oh yeah, I've had all this leadership training. But the reality is, you've been suggested ways that you should lead, but in fact, we don't reward that type of leadership. We don't honor that type of leadership. It's not respected amongst your peers, that type of leadership. The only type that's really respected and honored and rewarded and promoted is the authoritative, results only type of leadership. And typically the fallback, because it's easier and you have the law on your side in the form of the Universal Code of Military Justice, the UCMJ in the military, it's easier to just say, that's my order, you will go do it. I am in charge now, right? That's the classic Captain Phillips, right? Like, I'm the captain now kind of thing. And that's kind of what happened in this officer that took over after me, took command of this small unit after me. And lo and behold, people don't like that. Hey, surprise, surprise. People don't like being told what to do, when to do it, for no reason other than I have the authority to tell you what to do and when to do it and how to do it. People enjoy, well, I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but people want to be part of a mission. They want to be part of something. Be that leader. Be that leader that gives them something to be a part of, something to buy into, something that aligns with their morals, with their goals, with their dreams and aspirations, with their vision, and help them get there. Because we're not, presumably most of you that are listening to this are not in the military to where, you've got that set mission. You've got your own mission and vision for your company, for your department. We want to be the best finance department in this entire corporation. We want to be the best, whatever, sales department. Give people and allow them the opportunity to buy into your vision without you just telling them they have to in order to get their paycheck. And that is the difference at its core between a leader and a commander and somebody that's just in charge. Now, I strayed just a little bit because I want to continue this talk about this level of insecurity, which causes authoritative type of leaders. And are there areas, and they don't have to be directly related, although they more than likely are, because leadership at its core is a very relational driven type of a thing. It's very difficult to lead people if you don't have some level of relationship with them. And they know you at some level and they trust you at some level. And when you're insecure about things going on, whether it's your profession, whether it's your ability to lead, your confidence level, your experience, all those types of things play into it in small little ways or big ways, and you become insecure, and the natural reaction for most people is to come down heavy, is to cut off the opportunity for disagreement, to cut off the opportunity for other people to expose that insecurity. But as leaders, we are called, true leaders, we are called to handle our insecurities, to rise and be exposed in order to get better, to more effectively and appropriately lead the people we have been given the honor and the privilege of having leadership over. And are you doing that? Or is there something that you're so scared right now of being found out that it's creating this insecurity? Like, I don't want anyone to know that, man, I suck at sales. Like, cold calling people is the most terrifying thing in the world to me, but you're the sales department manager. And it creates this insecurity to where you may be coming down heavy on your other guys that have a similar insecurity. They're like, I don't like cold calling, it sucks. Which it doesn't. But it's something we have a lot of stigmas about you need to get over. So you come down heavy on your other guys or the new guys that don't see the point of it, but because you're not doing it, they're not getting buy-in to the whole thing, and you're afraid to expose yourself that you hate doing it or you've never done it. And then that creates this disconnect. That creates this distrust. that creates this level of what would be the right word? This level of, well, I guess disconnect is the right word, between the people you're leading and you as the leader, because you have this insecurity about this issue, this one issue, in this case, example, cold calling. But how much better would it be if you as the leader went to your team and said, hey, everybody, I know, whatever your excuse is, like, I'm not good at this one particular aspect. And in fact, I've avoided it my entire life. Somehow I've managed to become the sales manager here. But the reality is, and the truth is, I want you guys to be the best. And I want you to learn from my mistakes. And I can see why me skipping doing the cold calling has hurt me. Hey, let's learn this together. Let's understand, or help them understand the benefits of it. Whatever your example is, whatever your insecurity is. Because now's the time to figure that out, instead of keeping to try and sweep that under the rug, to where eventually you do get found out, but not in a good way. It becomes this deep, dark secret, and maybe you lose your job over it because you've been lying about it for so long. Whatever that case may be. So I wanted to really encourage you, analyze, as I do with most of these episodes, analyze and look, how are you being insecure, and how is that manifesting itself in your leadership style, how you relate to other people, how you lead them, or are you just commanding them because you control their paycheck? All right, everybody, I hope that was beneficial. Don't let your insecurities turn you into that authoritative type of leader, and that type of leader that you probably don't like yourself. You wouldn't enjoy being under somebody like you. Imagine that. All right. Have a fantastic afternoon, no matter where you're at in the world. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.